Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohamad Ardiansyah from S3 Said, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite things of all times, books. And you can see that's true by the massive amounts of books right here. So, what exactly am I going to be talking about? I'm going to be talking about something called the hero's journey, which is a concept that is followed by hero stories. The hero's journey is a concept invented by a guy called Joseph Campbell, who was a bit of a he didn't use his brain very much. So he tried to connect every single hero story in the world. He tries to fit them into this one formula. Do you think that worked? I'll give you 2 seconds to answer. No, it didn't work. It didn't work at all. It wasn't even close to remotely working. But he did pave the way for something that could link all the hero stories in the world together. And he published a book about his failed attempts, and that book is called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. And the title really explains everything. He tries to tie all of the thousands and thousands and thousands of stories together and tries to fit it into one 12-stage formula. I'm going to be talking about that formula. So, how does it start? The first is the stage one. Think of it like a clock, right? You're at the top, starting here. What is the first stage? It is the ordinary world. This is where the hero is used to being, and this is like Lyndon's home in the Cradle series. He lives in Sacred Valley, or Harry Potter, who lives in Privet Drive. Now, the second stage is the call to adventure. What draws the hero to going onto their adventure in the first place? That's like when when Frodo meets Gandalf, and he tells him to go on the journey with the ring, or when Lyndon gets the vision from Surya that his home will be destroyed. The third step is the refusal of the call, where the hero just tries to back out of the adventure before it even happens. This is like when Aragorn tries to throw Saphira's egg away because he doesn't want to put his family in danger. But most of the time, the adventure is forced into being happening by external factors that the hero has no control over. Like, Aragorn has to leave, or else his whole family will be, killed. A bit dark, but that's how it is. And the fourth step is meeting the mentor, where they get some assistance from someone older, someone wiser, like Brom in the Inheritance series, who follows Aragorn on his journey to make sure that he doesn't accidentally get himself killed in some ditch in the world. The fifth step is the crossing the threshold. This is when the hero, enters their unfamiliar world. They're not sure what's happening, but they're thrust into it, and they just have to deal with it. The sixth stage is the first test, or the allies and the enemies. Like, this is when the players of the unfamiliar world, they start to get introduced. The Varden, the elves, the Galbatorix, the Jai clan, the Aurelius family. Those are just one of very, very many examples. The next is the approach. This is when the hero starts to face their... Okay, so before I go into that, stage before, the sixth stage, the hero, has to learn about their main problem. What exactly they have to do to solve it. Like how Aragorn has to kill Galbatorix to stop him from killing everyone else. Like that. So the seventh stage is something called the approach. And this is when Aragorn is slowly walking towards Galbatorix and he has to duel Murtagh right before it. Or when Harry is walking directly towards Voldemort and he has his parents and Sirius Black right next to him. The eighth stage is the Ordeal. This is the final, battle or confrontation in the entire series usually, when Aragorn finally fights Galbatorix, and usually this is the most climactic part. Like, sometimes the hero ends up dying, or they're very nearly killed, but eventually they win, or else it wouldn't be a hero story. The next part, the ninth, is the reward. What exactly did they achieve? For Aragorn, his homeland is in peace. For Lyndon, his family is alive. What's the next stage? That is the road back, where the hero, after finishing their fight with the final villain, they make their way back, and the world starts to resolve itself. They try to recuperate from the big change that just happened. The next stage is Atonement, where the hero has to face the consequences of their action. Like sometimes, or rather most of the time, the hero inside is changed. Their personality is rebuilt. Like Apollo in the Trials of Apollo series, where he goes through a transformation, and at the end of it, he's a lot more human and forgiving than he was at the beginning of it. Something like that. And the last is the return, where the hero finally returns to their normal world, their ordinary world, and they're back home. That's it. Story's finished. But this can happen in multiple ways. This can happen, like Aragorn, who leaves Alagasia for all eternity because it's too dangerous to raise the dragons there. Or Frodo, who now he's known too much, he has to leave, and he leaves with Gandalf, right? So why is the hero's journey important if it's always wrong? That's because it can help you read, it can help you write, it helps you understand all different kinds of stories, it helps you relate to them. And also, it helps you, or like I said, it helps you write very good stories. You can take a lot of good examples from this, like The Ordinary World, Status Quo, number one. Why do you have to write that well? It connects the reader, it gives them an attachment to the world that they want the hero to protect. If the world is not fun for the reader to at all be attached to, then they really don't care about the hero, because the hero's whole goal is to protect that world. If they don't care about the world, the story might as well have not been written. And so the hero's journey, this happens for all of the stages. You can take a lot of very good lessons from all of them. And that's why the hero's journey is important if it is always wrong. No story can fit perfectly in every single step of that hero's journey. Because if you made a story that was like that, you'd have one of the most boring stories you've ever read. Ever. So, moral of the story, don't fit all hero stories you've ever read into this one formula, because that's not going to work. But you should be able to learn from it, and it's useful for all of us. And also it helps people start reading more, and I need more friends to talk to, so please do that. If you want a good series, read the Cradle series by Will White. I swear I'm not sponsored by them. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.